Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to KJ's channel. This is my final Bible video, and it's a little bit longer because I'm running out of time to get the Bible ones posted. Today, cover some of my translations that I have as well as my premium Bibles. I'm thinking that's all of them. I'm not real sure. I'd have to go back and look at all the videos to make sure I got all my Bibles covered. For those that may be Bible experts, I don't go into the difference between a translation and a paraphrase. So I do call the Message or the Living Translation a translation, although technically they're not. So don't hammer me on that. And other than that, if you got some special information about some of the text that I have, just let me know. So hope you enjoyed. It is a little bit longer, so hang with me. One caveat I want to say about study Bibles, I'm throwing this in afterwards, but one thing I want to say about study Bibles is they are very, very helpful, but it's very important that you understand the difference between what is actually the text of the Bible and what are the study helps. The study helps are not inspired. They are not infallible. And if you get caught up in this is the only way to interpret that, then you can have problems. But I think it is helpful to at least have some other opinions about the text, but be able to differentiate what is the text and what is the helps. One question that I get asked often is which translation is the best? And I always answer that the same way. The best translation for you is the one you will read. If you have difficulty understanding a certain translation, pick a different one. And whichever one you will read on a regular basis is the best translation for you. Aside from that, I'm going to go through some of my Bibles here in all the different translations that I have. You will, if you follow me for very long, you know that my favorite translation is the New American Standard, followed closely by the Christian Standard or the Holman Christian Standard. But I have lots of translations, so let's take a look at them. This is an NIV. The funny story about this Bible is you see the tabs on the side of it. I bought this Bible brand new, got my name put on it right before I was getting ready to go to Bible college. And I walked into my New Testament class with this Bible and ready to start learning all about it. And the New Testament professor told me I could not use this Bible in his class. And I was a bit taken aback and didn't really know what to say. I didn't know why, so I asked, why can't I use this Bible? And he said, those tabs. And I said, okay, but that helps me find the books of the Bible. And then he said, would you hire a carpenter who doesn't know how to use a hammer? And I said, no, sir. He said, then you need to learn the books of the Bible. So immediately that afternoon, I went and bought a different Bible, which I'll show you at another time. But that's an NIV. This is called The Book, and it's the Living Translation, not a very popular translation, which I can understand why, not my favorite. This is the Message, another translation that I am not a big fan of. However, for some people, it's helpful if they will actually read it. This Bible, I think, was another gift Bible with my name on it from my grandmother, I believe. And this is in King James. Yep, this is from Grandma. Grandma White, 1991, a King James. This is another King James. This was given to me by a church that I attended when I was in Bible college. And so the church presented this Bible to me Mount Gilead Baptist Church. It's a King James, and it's a Schofield notes, so it has some Schofield notes in there. God's Word. This is again another very modern translation. Holman Christian Standard. You can see that up there at the top. I bought this one. It is a minister's Bible, and so it has places for notes and stuff like that. This is a New American Standard. Somebody made a comment on my first video about beater Bibles. These are the ones that I love for beater Bibles. And what we mean by that is that's ones that you carry around with you every day. You're not worried about damaging it because it's not a premium Bible. This is bonded leather and just a Bible that you can carry around and use. This one, for a long time, was my actual preaching Bible. And so I have a picture of Jeremiah and my family in the front of it. This is one that I carried around for the longest time until I had the one made by Ben's Bible. Amplified Bible, I think this is a wonderful translation for studying. It's really hard to kind of understand because it has so many different additions to the text and possibilities and cross-references. But Amplified Bible is a good one. Here's another New American Standard. It's still in the box because this one was given to me by the college. Well, it's actually given to me by Lockman Foundation, who does the translation. But this is one I got when I graduated from New Orleans Seminary. They give all the graduates a Bible. So I have that here. These, the next three are parallel Bibles, and what that means is it puts different texts side by side. So this one is the Message and the New American Standard. And so if you read down through there, you'll see one side is New American Standard and one side is the Message. That way you can compare the text. I don't use that one a whole lot. The parallel that I use the most is this one. NIV, King James, New American Standard, and Amplified. I will use this quite often. Not as much now that I have Logos, that I can bring it up on my computer screen side by side, but this one has gotten lots of use over the years, and I actually use it right now as I'm preaching through the book of Mark. I use it to kind of look at different texts as we're going through. Good side by side. Anybody needs to have one of those. This one is one that I planned on using a lot more, but then I got Logos. But it is New American Standard, NIV with the Greek. So what you have is you have the Greek down the middle. On one side you have New American Standard, and the other side you have NIV. So you can see what the original says, plus you can see how it was translated, NIV and NASB. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about the differences. I encourage you to read some of what Bill Mounts says about the NIV because he helped translate that. But at the same time, listen to what a lot of the Bible scholars say about the New American Standard. I like both translations, by the way. I use both of them. I joke a lot about the NIV being the nearly inspired version, but I think my theme verse for my life is 2 Timothy 3:16, and I think it's best translated in the NIV. All Scripture is God-breathed. I really, really love that translation. So the NIV is a good one. This Bible is another chronological Bible. You know, I showed you the chronological study Bible. This is just the chronological Bible, and it's in the Christian Standard version. So you can start and you just go through, and it takes you through in a year. Go through the Bible chronologically. And then if you're like me, you can easily get distracted with the chapters and verses when you're reading down through there. One thing that I struggle with and I really work on is I tend to read the Bible looking for sermons or devotional thoughts instead of just reading it straight through. This Bible helps with that. It's called a Reader's Bible. And so if you'll look in here, there are no chapters and verses. And this one is Christian Standard, but there's no chapter and verses. It's written just like a letter or any other book. Very, very helpful just to sit down and read through that. So a Reader's Bible, very helpful. Okay, finally we've reached the Premium Bible section. This one is not a Premium Bible, but it stays with my Premium Bibles because it is very important to me. I told you that in Bible college, I was told I could not use the NIV. So I ran down to the local Christian bookstore and I found the cheapest Bible they had, and it was a New American Standard thin line. And this is the Bible that I used for 2 years in Bible college. And you can tell that it is well loved and well used. And it's full of notes. Guys that have gone on to be with Jesus, there are quotes in there from them. All kinds of little insights. So this Bible is very special to me. And it stays with my Premium Bibles for that reason. This is a Bible. It's a hardback, In Touch Ministries for Bible nerds. It is a 99 printed in the United States, which means that the paper quality is good, and it is this wide edition. This is highly sought after for Bible guys. I intend to have this one turned into a leather-bound Bible. That's why I bought it. That's why I keep it. I'm going to eventually have it turned into a Bible like my Ben's Bible. But I love the when the insides of this Ben's Bible starts to wear out. I don't know if he'll still be doing it then, but when the insides wear out of that, I want to have this put in there because it's a better core. This is the Minister's Bible version of that other hardback. This is the first Bible I bought when I became a pastor here. I decided I wanted a preaching Bible. And so this is the one that I bought. It does have notes in it, so it's not as valuable as it would have been if I had not. But it is calf skin, and it is a 02 printing, printed in the United States, so it's the good paper, In Touch, leather-bound Bible. The reason that I quit using this is because if you notice, the cover is not cut properly, so it doesn't cover the actual core of the Bible, the pages. I don't know what happened. I never really paid much attention to it until I started listening to some Bible guys and following some different groups online, that I realized how much of a boo-boo that was. So it is kind of an odd deal. I thought about having it rebound, and that's still a possibility for the future. But very, very nice Bible, and it's pretty stout. But you'll see when I get to my daily carry Bible, I fix that problem. This is a Geneva Bible, $15.99. This is a reprint, obviously, but just a really nice Bible. I love the translation. and it was done by Ben's Bible. He put my name on there for me, but just a nice bound Geneva Bible if that's something you're interested in. The notes in here are interesting and eye-opening. So I use this a little bit here and there, especially if it's a tricky passage, to see what the translation was and what an interpretation was at that particular time. But Ben, I've got a couple of books bound by Ben, and just absolutely the best. Speaking of which, this is another one. I told you I had another Greek Bible, but this is also a Hebrew Bible. So this is it was bound by Ben, but it is a Hebrew and Greek Reader's Bible. And so it starts here with the Greek. You can read down through there. And of course, Hebrew comes from the other side, and it's Hebrew over here. I don't use this Bible very often. I just think it is a neat asset to the collection in Greek and Hebrew. Eventually, when I get into taking Hebrew in seminary, I'll have some Hebrew Bibles. But this is bulky, it's kind of big, but I think it's just a neat piece in my collection. Two common made or pretty easily accessible premium Bibles are these here. Both of these are Schuyler's. I told you I got rid of my green one. I gave that to somebody, but this is a Schuyler thin line. This is the Schuyler personal size quintales. If you don't want a beater Bible, something that you tear up or are going to use on a regular basis. If you want a high quality Bible that will last a while and you don't plan on treating it rough, like putting it in your work pickup or something like that, if it's going to be one that you use for study and you carry around with you, but you're going to take a little bit of care of it, I highly recommend you go to Evangelical Bible and get one of these Schuyler's. This is goat skin. The binding is the Smith binding. It's really good. I cannot overstate how well made these Bibles are. I mean, this one almost looks brand new still, and I use this a lot. It goes with my my daily devotion, which right now is my most for His highest, and I use it a lot. This is my normal daily devotion Bible. So it gets used a lot, and as you can see, it still looks almost brand new. Paper's good, printing's good, the quality of the binding and the leather on the outside, this Bible will not fall apart like that $20 Bible. Very, very good. I highly recommend it for gifts. If you don't want something so small, you can get one of these. It's a normal size, bigger writing, but same quality. I just cannot recommend Schuyler's enough. So good. In fact, when we have people who are getting a gift Bible from the church, I know you can go and find cheap gift Bibles, but I have requested our church, and so far they've done that, to give out these. We had some graduates this past year, and we gave them all these personal size Schuyler quintales. And then there was the one young lady that I gave my full-size green one to. But these are what I give out as gifts. My cousin was ordained as a deacon. I gave him one of these. Yes, they're a little spendy, but they are well worth the money if you're actually going to use the Bible. And so that's kind of what that question was about, is whether or not you should. And I think it kind of depends on how you use your Bible. If you were going to throw it in a pickup and you're going to treat it, like, kind of rough, then yes, just get a beater. You can read it. You can, If it gets beat up, it's not that big a deal. But if you're going to treat it like a book and you're actually going to take care of it a little bit and not treat it roughly, and you just need something that'll hold up to repetitive use, not abuse, get a high-quality Bible. And that's exactly what I did a couple of years ago for me. A couple of years ago, I was using that little black NASB I was telling you about, and I just really, it was starting to tear up. It was difficult and to preach out of because my notes didn't fit in it. Anytime I threw it in a bag or something, the pages would get bent up. And at that time, I had not discovered Schuyler's, and I did not know a whole lot about Bible production and publication. I knew that I liked New American Standard, and I was just trying to find something that would work for me. That big Charles Stanley In Touch Bible, I really liked. I liked the feel of it. I liked the size of it when I was preaching. But of course, that side was messed up, and I didn't want to tear it up anymore. And so I did a little bit of research after seeing something on Instagram. Mark Hall of Casting Crowns had posted on Instagram about a Bible that he had rebound by a place called Ben's Bibles. And so I did some research and contacted Ben and decided to have a Bible custom made for me. And there were a couple of little things that I wanted to do. If I could go back and do it now, I would do it a little bit different. But I knew I wanted something that was well bound, something that would last a while, but also protected the Bible itself. So I had my Bible made. It is pleated goatskin, and it is in a midnight blue because Duke is the best team ever. But I just like the royal blue. But what I did is I actually just had Ben order NASB Lockman version. So if you just go out and buy a standard Lockman reference Bible, you'll get the guts of the Bible. If I had known what I know now, I would have gotten an In Touch and had Ben bind that. Or I would have just, ordered a Schuyler. Although I don't think it would have held up as good as this one. And it doesn't mean as much because this one has a lot of personal touches to it. But anyway, the guts are that. I made sure that it didn't have just the glued binding. It's a sewn binding. That's very important when you're looking at Bibles, especially if you're going to be using it for preaching. It needs to be flexible and hold up. And already this one's got a page or so that's starting to show some wear and tear. So when the guts of this one wear out, I'm going to use this In Touch and have it redone, hopefully into this. But the inside is suede, so it's really soft. The outside is pleated goatskin. You can see that it has magnets because I had him add a closure. And what that does is when I throw it into a backpack or a bag, it protects the inside. So it's really nice. Then it has this strap that looks really good. The only trouble that I've found is that when I preach, I have to tuck the strap inside here, or I tend to play with it. So when I'm preaching, this is how I hold it. On the outside, I had him put one of these crosses that is a sword. And then it has my name on it down here. You see Pastor KJ. This is my workhorse. This is the Bible that I use daily for everyday work. This one I use for my devotions. This one is my workhorse. This is my work Bible. And if you ever see me preach, this will be the one that I'm carrying with me. My iPad matches the size of this, and so they go together perfectly. I can actually even tuck the iPad inside here and wrap it up to keep them both protected. And this Bible has been so good to me, and it is the best well-made, but also the most expensive Bible that I have ever owned. And so that was an investment. In fact, that was a Christmas, birthday, happy anniversary type of gift. And that brings us about to the end. So that is my Bible collection. If you've been watching and you want to know anything particular about one of these Bibles, let me know. I'll do a little bit more in-depth video about it. Other than the Bible that I had in Bible college and my personal custom-made Bible from Ben, and maybe a couple of those other, like the Geneva Bible, the Greek and Hebrew, couple of those. Schuyler's, I'm willing to part with. But everything else, if you're interested in swapping or talking about Bibles, let me know. Of course, the different language Bibles are personal to me, but I just love Bibles. I buy Bibles all the time. Sharon constantly is asking me not to buy Bibles. When I go to a bookstore, I'm drawn to the Bible section. I've bought Bibles for other people, and I got a guy in the church that I gave a Ben's Bible to. It was a small New American Standard that I bought at the spur of the moment, and so I gave it away. But yeah, Bible collection is fun. If you know something about one of these Bibles that I don't know, let me know. I'm always interested to learn more and to see what's out there. So, hope you enjoyed that. Oh, one Bible I forgot. I'd used it while I had all my Bibles in the back. I brought it to the office. It is the Bible that I'm going to give to Jeremiah. It is a New American Standard, Allan. So Allan is another premium Bible maker. Very good quality. The reason I tend to use this one more than my Schuyler is one reason only, and it's a very pragmatic reason, is this text block is the same text block that's in my custom Ben's Bible. So if I read this in my office on a particular page and a verse is at a certain spot on the page, it stays where I read it when I switch to the other Bible for preaching. That's the only reason. But eventually Jeremiah will get this Bible.